Good evening, everybody. You are now tuning in to BCVP Mission Go Live bonus episode for season 1. This is a timely
Right.
discussion on COVID 19 realities, stories from first hand encounters. So stay tuned and join in the discussion. I'm your host, Casey Frayco. All right. So with us this evening, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our BCBP Alabang members here. Reg, Ting, Mommy says, the Clara says, Oman and
Hello.
Maricar, thank you for joining us here tonight. But first, before we go on with the introductions, we want to shout out to all of you guys there watching us live and on replay. Um, our BCBP Alabang chapter members, our fellow BCBP Alabang community members out there tuning in right now. Our friends, our families, good evening, guys. Hello. And for this particular bonus episode, meron akong kasamang guwapong-guwapo. Guwapo nga ba? na is also a member of BCBP Alabang. He was once my action group leader. And yes, and he will be our upcoming new host for season 2, Dennis Bunye. Hi,
Hi,
Papa Dedan.
hi,
You want
Casey. Hi.
you want to share the viewers what your season 2 will be all about?
Yes, first and foremost, I'd like to greet everybody who's viewing this show right now. Good evening, guys. And also to our panelists. And I'm happy and excited to be here. Now, this is a bridging episode, and this is more of a handover from Casey to the second season. It's entitled Thirsty Thursdays. Yon. And why is it named as such? Because parang think of it as late night talk show style, but it's about faith. It's about inspirational stories of people who have undergone their transformation, and this will showcase our faith in action.
All right. Thank you so much. We don't want to spoil it for you guys. So please do tune in next week. We start right away for season 2, Thursdays, 8 p.m. So this Go Live online series is one way our community would live out our BCBP mission of bringing Christ to the marketplace and winning the marketplace for Christ. For the whole pilot season, our discussions were anchored on the BCBP Be Honest advocacy, which goes be honest even if others are not, even if others will not, and even if others cannot.
Yeah,
So for
that's correct. Yes, and
yeah,
for this bonus episode also, we will discuss the realities of COVID-19, the realities of the pandemic, and its impact on different points of view, from the business owner, from a health worker, a frontliner, and just plain a member of the community also. And to all the viewers on Facebook and YouTube Live, please do chime in tonight's discussion and type in your questions, comments, and insights. Back to you,
all right.
Case.
Let's get this started na. I want to hear the stories already. So I'd like to introduce first Reg Gatmaitan. He is also member of BCBP Alabang, currently serving as our treasurer, tama ba yun? Treasurer or treasury head. Yes. And he's currently a business owner, and his industry is in the HR services industry, tama ba, Reg?
Yes, correct.
Yes, all right. So could you tell us about your work or your company and the biggest uncertainty you are facing with the business or in the industry now?
Yeah, so bali Casey, our main business kasi is manpower services. So basically what we do is we supply sales ladies to different malls. So naman during the pandemic, 'di ba? All malls were shut off, 'di ba? So imagine I have people working and all of a sudden they stop. So how it affected me, grabe. Sobrang ano talaga. It's like waking up with no income the following day. So initially, we thought that it's not going to be that long. But when reality started sinking in, we realized na, oh no, this is a long-term thing, and we really have to manage on how to stay afloat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts about that, more on, what's keeping you motivated every day. And I'm sure a lot of people will relate to that. So later, okay, we'll call you again
Sure.
for the discussion. Thank you, Reg. Thank you for being here. Dennis, you want to introduce the next
Yeah,
panel?
we have as our panelists, as our panelists, this Oman and Maricar Santiago. And Maricar is a former flight crew from Cathay Pacific, and even see Oman is also has his business related in the same industry. Is with a representative for Thai cargo, right? And they're also members of our BCBP community, with Oman serving as our breakfast head. So can you say something further for about yourself, Oman and Maricar?
Hi, good evening, Dennis. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Dennis and everyone.
At the moment, we're still flying, but just cargo, walang passenger. So medyo
Mm-mm.
talagang hirap ang airline industry at the moment. Yeah. Uh, ano lang, kumaga taking one day at a time. So, but surprisingly, actually, logistics now is in high demand. So,
Mm-mm.
medyo swerte pa rin yung area ko. Medyo
Mm-mm.
may trabaho pa rin kami.
Mm-mm.
Kaya.
Well, I was a former flight attendant for Cathay Pacific, turned business owner. I had a Lady Chubby Cheeks store, but we closed down during the lockdown, and we still have
Mm-mm.
not opened. We closed
Mm-mm.
our physical store,
Mm-mm.
and that's one of the realities of this pandemic.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Back to you, Dennis.
Okay, thank you guys. And of course, we know about you having certain uncertainties also, especially having experienced this early on when just even I think before the lockdown, diba? So we'll do more of a deep dive on that siguro later. So
Yeah.
I'll just give the floor back to you, Casey.
Thanks, Dennis. So let me introduce to you our next panel for tonight. Ting Valdez. He has been a BCBP member since 2011 and currently serving as formation director for BCBP Alabang East. So how are you doing now, Ting? What has been your experience of this pandemic? Any challenges?
Oh
Any
man,
big
so
challenges?
yeah, daming challenges. Big adjustment from when this all started. Actually, if I can just share quickly, when the pandemic started last year, when the ECQ, to be in particular, that was when I would like to share my story already, and it was when my mom had both my parents had COVID, and we really weren't sure how to deal with it. Too many adjustments. We were all have we couldn't even visit them in the hospital kasi nga quarantine and COVID positive sila. And unfortunately, my mom didn't make it. She passed away last March 26, 2020. And then on the good side naman, my dad survived, and we're very happy to have him still with the family. So a lot of changes, even at home. Pretty much just trying to stay healthy. That's our best asset right now. Just avoiding to get sick. So yeah. So that's it.
Sympathies and prayers goes to you,
Thank
Ting,
you.
and your family. Um, it is a big adjustment, diba, when you lose someone you love and especially your mother. So we'll get back to that with you later on. Dennis, would you like to introduce our last but not the least panel for this
Yeah, of
evening?
course. We have a very special panelist. Her name's Dr. Cez Reyes, and she's a mother of two. She's the wife of our former chapter head, John Reyes, and she finds a lot of gratification and fulfillment in taking care of women and their baby. She's an OB-GYN. Good evening, Cez.
Hi. Hi, Dennis. Yes, you're right. I'm an OP gynae and I've been in practice for almost 20 years. Imagine 20 years of taking good care of
Mm-mm.
women, of babies, and
Mm-mm.
becoming a part of their families as well.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
However, the COVID pandemic turned around everything. We've adjusted to it already, but it has changed our practice as
Mm-mm.
physicians and as doctors.
Uh-uh.
Greatly, tremendously, actually.
Yeah, I can just imagine, ano, no, Doc, that, having these protocols, di ba, parang you would think na, okay, this is something that you are super prepared for, siguro personally, di ba? Pero I guess that only says that with your experience, there's still uncertainty despite all the preparation. So we'll pick up on
Yes.
that also later, di ba?
Yeah, I have a lot to tell.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Okay. So Casey, probably we can address our panelists already with the question for them. Yeah. Casey, you're I think you're on mute pa. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
There
okay.
you go.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
Mm.
I think I wanna start hearing more about the story of Oman and Maricar and their experience of the pandemic.
Mm.
Could you tell us more about your experience? I believe you were affected by the virus, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. When we learned, when the village learned that there's somebody that has COVID in the neighborhood, everybody was actually asking kung sino siya.
Mm.
Tapos
Mm.
ang dami-daming mga demands like they should not go out.
Mm.
Even they asked the guards to man the house na hindi lalabas yung mga tao inside the house.
Mm.
So medyo affected kami doon. Then of course, when I brought Maricar sa hospital, uh, 6 meters apart, hindi kami pwede magkalapit. Then makikita mo lang siya, she's being brought inside the hospital by the nurse, and you can just say kiss or say goodbye man lang. And you don't
Mm.
know whether nakakita pa kayo after, di ba? Kasi that time, hindi pa alam kung how to treat the COVID eh. So medyo, it's very, very tough. Yun, Maricar.
Well, for me, it was when I first fell ill. He had the body aches. He experienced coughing, no, dry cough, and then he had fever shortly. And that time, we just thought that maybe it was the normal flu. As for me, I didn't have parang the same symptoms as Oman. I had back pain first, and then chest pain, and then coughing followed, and then fever afterwards, and then a whole lot of other symptoms. But I think the stigma for Oman was that, like as he said, parang there were a lot of inquiries. The people were so curious; they wanted to know who it was. Parang they wanted
To
to
stay
maybe
away,
to
to
stay
stay
away
away.
from that house.
Yeah.
So
Mm. Mm.
um, and parang, the stigma was from our family. My sister who staying with us. She felt like parang also, are we going to be locked in the house? We can't go out for how many weeks, and then you have a
Mm.
guard outside. It's like parang this house is marked, that somebody with COVID lives here. But I as for me, my fear was that I was thinking if Oman got sick because he was never tested, he never was swabbed for because it was earlier on that time, so
The
hindi
test
siya
kit was so expensive then. So parang
his
This was last year, right?
yeah, this
2020.
is this year, yeah.
2020, and his chest X-ray was negative for pneumonia, so he was never swabbed. But in my mind, I was thinking, I mean, he got sick, he had fever, he had a dry cough, and then maybe that was also COVID. As for
Yeah.
me, I really got the positive test result. So when I knew about it, it was like parang shocked. I was so shocked, and then it was more like I feared for everybody in the household because if Oman got sick, I got sick. What about our my nephew, my sister, our staff at home? So that was parang my reality then because nobody knew much about COVID at the time and how to treat it.
Yeah. I guess that's also the ano the source of the fear, di ba?
Yeah.
There's so much unknown processes, are we going to be judged, di ba? Are we going to get help, di ba? And it kind of puts you in a place wherein that uncertainty builds up siguro. Siguro let's also hear from someone also this hits close to home because not only are we affected with our households, but also our source of income as well. So, siguro, Reg, you can take us from, give us also a snapshot of how it was for you as a business owner during the time.
For me naman, well, the difference between the time I got COVID is it was just recent, yung when COVID was really rising again. So that was just March 2021. I would imagine yung kay Oman and Maricar, di ba? Grabe yung stigma. The difference with me naman is parang everyone is so parang everyone is getting it. So when I got it, it was so easy for me to say, hey, I have it. What do I do? So the main difference right now is I think right now kasi people are more aware compared to before. They don't even in the hospital, they don't even know what to do. Now parang they know there's a ano na, parang nakalatag na on what to do. Diba? Yeah.
Mommy says, could you tell us about that? Observing it from your end as a health worker, as a physician, no? How are things different from Oman's experiences validating it and Reg's experience from last year to this year? Is it now? How's it now?
Yeah, last year kasi nangangapa lahat. Not all of us, even physicians, nangangapa. As doctors, we don't know what to do. We're faced with something that we don't know how to treat, diba? So, at that time, last year, my practice, you don't know. My biggest uncertainty is getting the virus and bringing it home. That's why we have kami na mismo. We've devised ways. We've bought self-protective gears. Lahat na nabili namin just to protect ourselves and, in short, protecting also our family. And right now, we all know that the virus, how to treat the virus na. We all know what to do. Kaya, I think it's much better. We're in much better place now. We have the vaccine in place. So, I guess everything is on the right track. We just need to have and trust in the Lord that everything will soon pass.
Yeah.
Diba?
Thank you, Doc. Yeah. Thanks for that, for that insight also, says. So I guess it also hits close to home, no? Especially when it's a loved one that is affected, and you can't do anything about it because of so many restrictions, diba? So I know, Ting, that this is something that is sensitive as well. But can you take us through that experience also?
Yeah. Sure, it was March 16, first day of the ECQ. And
Yeah.
that was when my parents decided to bring themselves to the hospital. It was actually my dad who was in a very much worse condition between the two of them. It was when my mom pa nga who drove the car, and then we met them in the hospital, in Asian Hospital. And then, parang it took them actually 2 days pa before they got their room. Nasa ER lang sila the whole time because they were waiting for their turn. And I saw them inside the room, and then my dad was in a so much worse condition. I think the key there for my dad was he just really rested and rested, and he found a way to get himself better. While on the other hand, my mom was the worrier type, so he would always worry about my dad. When they both got their rooms na 2 days after, parang parati lang iniisip ni mommy yung condition ni dad. So kami parang, I guess that's when it got worse for my mom. Parang a day after, she was rushed already to the ICU, and then she was intubated, and yun na nga eh, two different sets of medicines were given to them, since we really didn't know how to treat it at that time. Yeah, unfortunately, we were just wala eh. We tried our best. The doctors did their best. We couldn't visit, which made it harder for us to manage it. Pero in a sense, it made us stronger as a family.
Yeah.
Even when my mom passed away, every day we see each other, not physically but through digital medium like this. Every night we pray, we still give thanks for the gift of life, and we're very happy that our dad is taking it in a very positive note. So when he has strength, we all share each other's strength. So we're very blessed pa rin to have him with us.
Yeah.
I think it's typical for the women to worry because women are worriers, isn't it?
Mm. Worrying is talaga. I think it's maybe we can control that better, or stress, di ba? So those
Yeah,
are
but
things
for
that
me,
probably we can control and avoid.
for me, it was the moment before I was going to be brought to the hospital when kasi parang you're so helpless eh, couldn't do anything. So I like, just surrendered everything. I just left it up to the Lord because I was worried nga if like Oman was really well because he never got tested. So, or if any of my family members or staff at home were infected as well. If we infected anybody, but it was like I was thinking there's just so much we can do. So I just told the Lord, if it's everything is up to you. And I said that I wasn't even sure if I would be coming back to Oman. I was thinking of already making bilin. Should I talk to my sister? Should I talk to Oman already and make bilin and tell him all these things? But then I said, parang it's so morbid, ba? I'll be far away from everybody in this condition, and then parang leaving them with making bilin. Parang I just said, Lord, bahala ka na. And it was at that moment when I felt very hopeful when I was like brought to the hospital because when I surrendered everything, that was it. I stopped thinking about, I stopped worrying, I stopped, I mean, having all, this fear. I just said, bahala na kayo, Lord, whatever it is in store for me, what we have for me, parang so be it.
Yeah,
And at that
siguro,
point, I felt parang I felt
At peace.
at peace. It was, I couldn't explain it. Parang I was so calm, and in the hospital, it was just like, it was very peaceful for me.
that's nice to hear, Maricar. So, Oman, were you feeling the same way as well? I mean, syempre, as men also, we're programmed to take charge, di ba? And it's kind of touchy, especially when it's a very close loved one who's affected,
Yeah.
and there's a feeling of helplessness. How was it with you?
You know what? When we decide to announce that we have COVID, actually the help of the neighbors poured in. Siguro yung food stocks namin good for 1 month. Lalabas for sa dami ng mga donations na pinadala. They even brought wines and whiskey for us.
That was my worry kasi when
Pampa-disinfect.
our staff's concern was, Mom, di kami pwede lumabas. Paano kami mag-grocery? Paano kami mamimili ng pagkain namin? May guard daw dyan sa tapat ng bahay. Parang hindi kami makakalabas. But then, I mean, that was it. When I prayed about it, I said, Lord, bahala ka na talaga. And then everything just fell into place.
Pero what's more
Very-
important is prayers. Eh. Even siguro classmates ni Maricar, my batchmates, the neighborhood, even other Christian denominations, they prayed with us also. So talagang prayers talaga helped a lot. A
Yes.
lot.
Galing, no? Parang my takeaway from that is like consolation and isolation, di ba? While you
Yeah.
feel that you are isolated, you are being consolate. Yeah, there's a lot of consolation that's coming from those whom probably you don't really expect it to come from, siguro. About you, Reg, what was your isolation experience?
Yeah, isolation. Actually, ako, the first few days, I was really worried for Noki and my kids. I wasn't actually thinking of myself during that time. Kasi
Mm.
parang, parang I feel that I can survive this. But
Mm.
my worry is, paano kung nahawa ko si Noki, nahawa ko yung mga anak ko, di ba? So, it was really tough for the first 5 days na thinking of those, parang talagang masiraan ka ng ulo. So,
Mm.
I just keep on
Mm.
praying. Actually, that's
Mm.
the only way to do with it. Just keep on praying. And then on the fifth day, when Sinoki was tested, she turned negative. So, doon medyo na-relax na ako. Doon nag-start na isipin ko na yung sarili ko.
Yeah.
Parang my situation there is pag lumala to, saan hospital ako papasok? Kasi during
Yeah.
that time, all the
Yeah.
hospitals are full, di ba?
Mm.
So, at night, I just pray every night and thank the Lord that I survived the day. And I just pray again for the following day so I'll be better or just the same.
Mm.
Diba? So, yun, that was the process every night. It's hard, it's hard.
Mm.
How
Yeah.
about you, Mommy says, di ba you also got affected by the virus? What was it
Yeah.
like afterwards when you were done now with the quarantine and the isolation? Did you still feel parang, I mean, what was the feeling?
You know what's good? I was asymptomatic. So
Ah,
there was never a symptom from the start. It's just a COVID positive result. I actually
okay.
had two scares. Eh. The first one was in the early part, during the early part. I had to deliver a patient who's really
Mm.
breathing hard. Na,
Mm.
of course, walang test nyo. So we have to deliver the baby.
Mm.
But then when I went home, sabi ko, ay, oh, nakakatakot, di ba? If you bring home the virus to your children and
Yes.
your husband.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I isolated myself for 2 weeks. Never got the tests. And every day I pray. And every morning, I wake up thanking the Lord na, Lord, buti wala akong symptom. Wala akong difficulty of breathing.
Mm.
Hindi ko nahihirapan. That's the only consolation that you get every morning that you wake up and
Mm.
that you're asymptomatic. With the second one kasi, I also delivered another patient na after 5 days from delivery, experienced difficulty of breathing again. And in the ER, x-ray niya showed suggestive of COVID. So inunahan ko na, nag-COVID test na ako sa kanya. Nag-COVID test na ako. So I got the result earlier. I'm positive, pero she's negative. So I don't know where I got it. I was asymptomatic. But what's good is siguro since I'm a doctor, since I'm a physician, I know how to monitor. I know what to expect. So the second time around that I'm COVID positive na talaga, COVID positive, I am completely at peace and I enjoyed my isolation at home. Okay? I enjoyed it completely. Although 2 weeks is long enough for someone who's really on the go every day and who sees patients every day. So it's too long, but then I completely enjoyed it. And with a lot of prayers and text, ang daming text every day yan. Nagte-text. Mami says, how are you? Si Reg! Ka-text ka, Reg, kamusta ka na? Kamusta ka na? Okay ka na? Pwede na lumabas? Labas na tayo sa room natin. Father Ed, every single day, nagte-text yan sa akin. So I appreciate everything. And that's the time I know na there are a lot of people who who cares about you and who prays for you. And that prayers are the one that keep you strong every single day. It's prayers are the ones that protect us as first line, as frontliners, as doctors. They are the ones that protect us. Eh. It's not the food that you bring every day. I think it's the power of the prayer.
Correct. Yeah.
That's
Galing,
nice.
galing, galing.
If I
Actually,
may,
just
ano, no?
yeah, sige, go ahead.
Yung support group, very important.
Yeah.
Like our action group, siguro since the start of the lockdown, we've been praying that daily yung 3 o'clock chaplet,
Divine
Mm.
Mercy.
Divine Mercy. Yeah.
Divine
So
mercy.
until now, we're still doing it.
We're over on our over
400 plus.
400 day.
Pero ang lakas,
Wow.
ang laki ng tulong ng support group.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Kayo
agree
rin, Ting, no?
more. Yeah, I mean, kami as a family, we started praying together just because of this pandemic. Pero it's really a great source of strength. And I couldn't agree with, Doc says and Oman. It really does wonders. And plus our chapter, our community started, parang they initiated a daily rosary um,
Mm.
for the ECQ. Initially, it was parang project para habang nasa bahay yung mga tao, at least we get to pray on a daily basis.
Mm.
And ano, up to now, actually, it's still ongoing. It became a really, really good habit of everyone to pray as a community. So there's really strength in prayer.
Yeah,
Galing, galing.
yeah. Ako rin just to
Mm.
add, no,
Mm.
talagang the prayers from everyone is very helpful in recovery. Alam mo, I think the beauty of this pandemic is a lot of people started to pray talaga. Eh. Alam mo, I was surprised na even my clients na found out, kasi syempre they'll ask me for a meeting, yan, sabi ko I have COVID. Alam mo, they message me that they'll be praying for me. Alam mo yun? So ang galing lang na parang you'll see na people that you don't expect to pray for you, all of a sudden they're all praying for you.
That's
Mm.
so true. It's very uplifting. And the
Yeah.
power of prayers, like
Mm.
when I was hospitalized for 11 days, I would receive text messages and
Mm.
even from children of our neighbors who wrote, made cards of "Get home soon. We're all praying for you, Tita Maricar." And parang I was so touched. I've never met these children, and here they are praying for me, their families, and you will receive texts from maybe another neighbor I've never met yet, and then she would, wish me well, and of course the community, prayers, masses, and rosaries from our communities really, really very uplifting and very, very helpful at the time.
So we invite all the viewers joining us tonight to chime in if you have any insights from the discussion, share your story, give us your, exchange notes with us here. Ask your questions if you have any. We're open to entertaining your questions. So at this point, I just want to go back to the experience of COVID or pandemic, or I mean, sorry, the workplace situation right now with this pandemic. Could you tell us something about what you're doing? What are you? How do you stay afloat? What keeps you sane? In other words, maybe I want to hear first from Reg, our business owner.
Yeah, for us, no, I think right now we what we're trying to do is we just try to maintain a level of loss, diba? Just to survive. But I think at the end it's the business side and the virus itself. Parang there's nothing you can do, diba? I mean, all you need to do is parang there's not much work or anything that you can do to improve, diba?
Mm.
So parang in situations like that, all you really need is to depend on your prayers talaga, depend on God,
Mm.
and you just try to ride it out and survive this pandemic.
Mm.
Are there other things you're exploring at this point? Learning new skills and doing other things, and possibly, I don't know, shifting your focus or your industry? What else is there for you in store for you?
Right now kasi parang what's important for us right now are the people who were affected in our business kasi to be honest, a lot of people were displaced. So our concern right now is how to bring them back. Diba? So I guess that's what we are more focused on bringing them back. But yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot of new skills because of the quarantine, di ba? So yun. So nagkaroon pa ako ng bagong aso, di ba?
Pareho tayo, Reg.
Aso pala yun, Reg. Akala ko kabayo nung una ko nakita. Laki.
So dog trainer na ako ngayon.
Sige, at this point, I'd like to pick up a question lang from our audience. This is from, wow, ang ganda, ang gwapo ng pangalan, no? Jonathan Reyes. What do you think is God's purpose for allowing you to experience this crisis in your life? Anybody can answer that.
Siguro yung asawa na kagad. Dr. Ses.
Iniisip ko nga, Mahan, is that question for me? What is God's purpose for me? Actually, you know this, son. From the start, when it started, I never learned to question the plan of God. So when this started, wala. I didn't question. 2 weeks lang ako nagpahinga because of the pandemic, and then after that, resume ng clinic because I have an oath to my patient, a promise to my patients to take good care of them. Kahit na may pandemic, kahit there's risk for viral infection, I still continued to take care of them, expose myself to viruses, expose myself to the infection, and just make sure that you protect yourself every day, every single day. Observe everything, the hand washing, mask, and also in the process is to teach them how to protect themselves from the virus as well. So my purpose in life is to be of service to others, to continue to be what God planned me, what God's plan is for me, and that is to help other people by delivering their babies and taking good care of them at the time of pandemic.
Thank you, Ses. Parang what I'm getting also from this conversation is there's a strong sense of duty and selflessness, diba? Parang even being infected, parang your concern is really more of the others, the immediate family, have I infected them? And then that's the time that you get to realize it and then parang move on from there. And so therefore parang it's such a nice image that people even from outside your family are like rallying in behind you, supporting you, diba? Do you feel the same way also?
I do. I feel the same way as you do, Dennis. It's a support also of the family. Okay, that helps. It's the bond also of the family. I stay in the house more often than having clinic. I have online consultations also, diba? So you spend more time with the family. The children, they have school. But what I missed about this pandemic is yung mga milestone sa buhay namin as a family na nawala. Okay? Graduation ng anak ko, debut ng anak ko. Two children, graduation nila. We've missed, and they're all online. The anniversary of my parents, all those milestones that we're expecting na we will experience as a family, nawala because of the pandemic. But of course, life will go on. We'll still have our birthdays. We'll still have our graduations. So never question the Lord. Just go through life. He has planned it for you. Diba?
Yeah. Thank you, Ses. Also related to that question, because I think this is from MM also, and anybody can answer, no? Since the end of this madness is not clear, how do we fight despair?
Despair.
Hold on, Dennis. Sorry. Before we jump to that,
Mm.
I just want to hear what Ting has to say about, experiencing the crisis of grief and loss in the family during this pandemic. What's God's purpose for that for you?
Okay, so for me, I believe God has a plan for all of us, and unfortunately, our mom was the first one to leave in our family. But in spite of that, we grew closer as a family.
Mm.
It was still our mom who became our source of strength to stay together and to be more close with one another. She's still with us in spirit. We pray for her every night, and
Yeah.
I guess for every situation that we encounter, because all of us are in this storm together, and it's
Mm.
just a matter of how we react to the situation, diba? So you can choose that whether you want to make something positive out of it, or do you want to, like the next question, parang do you want to entertain the feeling of despair, the feeling
Mm.
of, you
Mm.
know, talagang fear, the feeling of uncertainty.
Mm.
So it's a choice. It's a choice that we make, and it's a choice that we can make as a team, as a group, not just by ourselves. So we have family around. If not, if you have a friend, that's enough. We can make something out of it. But we are still all in this together. We're still in the same storm, just maybe this different boats.
Mm.
So there.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that thing. Nice.
Yeah, thank you for that. So I guess in relation to Thing's response, no, when the end of all this madness isn't clear, the uncertainty, how do we fight despair? Anybody can answer. Um, Oman Maricar, maybe one of you.
Um,
Mm.
like with what happened to me, no, because you really don't know. Like I didn't know if I was gonna get well. I didn't know if I was gonna come back home to Oman, but I just surrendered. It was like your faith will propel you, to just leave everything up to God,
Mm.
and hoping, hope will really carry you through, knowing that this thing will end sometime. This is not forever. This pandemic will not be forever. But it's just, I think maybe for me, God wants to tell me, that was my takeaway from my having this COVID experience is just to be still and leave everything to Him. Because when I
Mm.
surrendered that time, parang everything just fell into place. It was the most
Mm.
um, peaceful, the most serene time I've ever had.
Mm.
Um, you know, ever since I left Cathay or I retired.
Mm.
So that's it. I think having faith in God and really prayers, praying and focusing on Him, because hindi ka naman pababayaan eh. Like kami, I was really worried, not for myself, not
Mm.
because I told him, if it's my time, it's my time. Sige na, Lord,
Mm.
pero please protect my husband, because I wasn't sure that he was totally well. I said, he got sick, but what if he's not totally well? What if we infected my sister, my nephew, my other staff members at home? Because at that time,
Yeah.
they were saying that it's highly contagious. You can pass it on. So I was thinking, who else will get sick in the family? But when I surrendered to God and I said, "Bahala na kayo, Lord," imagine, none of them were. It was only Omen and I. And then my worry about how will they get their supplies, their food, having this guard in front of her, parang ganyan, parang wala. Everything was just taken care of. I mean, by our neighbors, they rallied up and they set up parang food and
Bago pa
supply.
nauso yung community pantry, pinauso niyo
Yes,
na pala yun.
we already had. We're so blessed to be in this, living in this community. I mean, our West
And then
of
even our BCBP
and even
community.
BCDP community kasi everybody was just like, when they found out, talaga,
Si Doc says din, I mean,
Oo.
he texted
Yes.
siguro several times also just to check on Maricar.
Yeah. So parang another time in the hospital, he was like, para I was so scared talaga. I really felt na, wala, it was just so calming to know that there were a lot of people praying and that I had just, surrendered everything to God.
Reg,
So
you've
that,
mentioned earlier, you're thinking about the people that got displaced from due to the business losses, or I guess lack of people hiring them, or getting people to work for them. No, so how do you now manage that the thinking, the anxiety behind it? I mean,
Mm.
what keeps you well, I'm sure taking care of people is a big thing, especially
Yeah.
in the HR industry, diba? So, how
Mm-mm.
do you manage your mental wellness?
Um, well, like what Maricar mentioned kanina, no? It's really about surrendering. Eh. The beauty of us being in the community. Kasi when you say surrender, parang ang daling sabihin to surrender, eh, di ba?
Mm-mm.
But it's actually not, eh. But the beauty that because we are in a community, we were able to learn and cope on how to do it, how to surrender to the Lord. Parang, parang with what's happening right now on how do we bring back these people, honestly, it's so hard to answer it eh. Kasi unless the economy starts improving, di ba? You cannot bring them back naman and lose more, di ba? So these things you just really have to surrender it, di ba? You just have to pray for it. You just have to pray that this pandemic stops, di ba? You just have to pray that everything will be over soon,
Mm-mm.
di ba? And then once it's over, you start building again and start focusing on bringing them back.
Mm-mm. Siguro, Reg, also, I mean, just to transition, as the father of the company, diba? And that's your concern, like your employees or like your children. Going naman to your immediate family, like how did your, this is a question also from from our viewer. How did your children react when they learned that you were infected?
Oh, my eldest son started wearing mask inside the house. um,
Good.
well, I guess it's hard for it's really hard for the kids,
Uh-uh.
because the kids they really don't fully understand what coronavirus is. Actually, in fact, when you go out, they're afraid to go with you because they tell me, Dad, I don't want to go because there's corona outside.
Yeah.
So when I had the virus, they were really afraid. So what we did is Noki tried to teach or try to make them understand what I'm going through.
Mm.
But I guess that what's important is you really have to tell your kids that the process on what you're going through, diba? And they'll understand it. Yeah.
Mm.
But initially, nakakatawa talaga may kids started wearing masks, ganyan. They're afraid to go near my door. Yeah.
You know, Reg, I think
Mm.
yung mga anak natin mas madaling turuan
Mm.
kaysa sa magulang.
Actually,
Ang hirap ng magulang.
Mm. Mm.
It's really hard for me to stop my parents from going out. And
Mm.
they don't realize it until they get the disease, di ba?
Mm.
So, yun, hirap. But then,
Mismo, Mommy
yes,
says, kuhang-kuha mo.
it come to a point na talagang ako na yung nagagalit sa kanila. Parang ako yung magulang nila. Sila yung kailangan sumunod sa akin. Pero meron naman nakinig for once and then nag-resume ulit. So hard. So hard.
Oh, how about sa inyo, Ting, sa household nyo? I mean, knowing that the grandparents were also, under that situation.
Actually, fortunately nga, yung parents ko was living in a condo. So, hindi sila in direct contact physically with any of us during that time. So, it was hard kasi when mom passed away, we didn't have a proper funeral. at that
Yeah.
time. So
Mm.
I was the only one who went to the hospital to pick up the body and go straight to the ano na kagad sa memorial for cremation. And
Mm.
it all just happened, and they experienced it when we got the chance to bury her already, which was this year lang, actually this March, 1 year anniversary ni mommy, March 26.
Mm. Mm.
So that's when we were able to bury her. And it's tough, pero they understand
Mm.
naman. When they go out, they have to wear their masks, they have to clean their hands, and wash, and do all the proper precautions lang for getting the
Mm.
disease. Pero I guess ako yung point rin na gusto ko i-share ngayon is we have so much more time now at home. So
Mm.
may extra effort talaga to make it more enjoyable for everyone. Kasi syempre
Mm.
everybody's just in the house all the time. So we have to find ways and creative ways to make it less stressful. So, or like more happy. We don't have the best house, but we make an effort. Bo and I make an effort to make it a happy place. So both parents, di ba? Ang dami namin sa bahay. We have both
Mm.
parents, we have the kids. So mommy says, sabi niya, sobrang relate ko kasi we have to deal with both angles, the kids and then my in-laws.
Mm.
So kung nakikinig kayo, hi mommy to, hi papi. Please.
That's nice. So siguro Ting, just to, I mean, coming from you also, that I picked up on that particular na meron kang tips, and given your experience also, talagang to really strengthen the prevention. But what would be your message to those who are watching now? I mean, given your experience, and what would be your message to them?
At the end of the day, health is wealth. So let's all protect our health, do our part. Let's pray, but we also have to do our share. We can't be neglectful with our duties and responsibilities with the rest of us in the family, in the house. So there's my take. Health is wealth. Take care, guys.
Nice one. Thanks, Ting. How about the others?
Yeah, ako siguro
Mm.
alam mo yun, everyone is going through this.
Mm.
So you have the ability to either make your life in despair
Mm.
or make the most out of it and get all the positive things from it. Diba? And of course, always trust in the Lord.
Nicely put. Yeah. Thank you, Reg.
Oman and Maricar?
I think for me is to be thankful every day. Count your blessings, because like what Reg said, parang we have no control over what's going on around us, diba? Because right now there's still a lot of uncertainties. Though we have our vaccines already, but this is global. We don't know when this virus will totally be eradicated, if ever. But one thing we can do is just control how we can choose to be negative about it and feel sorry for yourself, or just um, or be fearful, or just tend to look at the bright side. Every day we're awake. We have a beautiful clean air, di ba? Walang masyadong traffic. You're at home. You don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So we have family, and even if we can't go to church, I think our family unit has turned into a church, because everybody right now, I think, as for our family, we pray, and we're all in tune, kahit na online, di ba? So I think that's it. Just
Yeah. For me naman, after all the miracles and the blessings that we have received, we have to give back in also, no? Hindi lang pwedeng puro pasalamat lang. So we have to give back
Yeah.
to the
Okay.
sa akin.
Mm-mm. Thank you, Oman. About you, Doc Ses?
Okay, siguro parang ako laging may final dito. Akong pinakamatanda ata sa inyo eh.
Hindi naman.
Hindi naman.
Parang ako
Sobrang
ata, sis eh.
Naman ha.
ito yung area mo kasi health working.
No, from the start, and I'm telling you this, not to question the Lord's plan. Just go through it with you should be happy. You should be happier in your own homes with your family and your loved ones. You haven't seen the picture outside, especially during the start of the pandemic. There are a lot of people going around shopping from one hospital to another just to get in the hospital. May mga nanganganak na hindi kaya. You go from one hospital to another hanggang out of desperation, even if they don't have much money, oo lang sila ng oo. And that's the reality of life. And that one, you never question the Lord. Yun lang, that's what I've learned all throughout this pandemic. Never question the Lord, pray and give thanks, and share whatever you have. And that's what I've learned. I've learned to share also. Share time, share your possessions. Okay? Share everything. Share with the family, with the community, and that makes our life more meaningful and less ang problems natin if you look at it in a different way, not as a problem. So don't never question God and trust in the Lord always. Right?
Thank you
Yes.
everyone for
Mhm.
thank you everyone for sharing your stories. Thank you
Mhm.
for openly and honestly, candidly sharing the realities of this pandemic and how it impacted your lives. And what I've heard from all of you is to keep God in the center of everything, whatever it is, crisis or not. It is our choice to keep our faith and remain faithful to the Lord and His plans. And so, with that, we'd like to, for all our viewers here, we'd like to invite you to our BCBP breakfasts. That's every Saturday. Or if you know any friends out there who are members of any BCBP company, community, we are nationwide. We even reach to other countries, so like Singapore and the US, So um, just try it. Listen, there are more stories to be heard, more inspirational messages to learn from, like all these wonderful people here tonight. Then,
And please subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Search for BCBP Alabang. And remember to give us a thumbs up. And for YouTube, please make sure that you click on the bell for notifications and for you to get updated. And watch out for season 2. That's Thirsty Thursdays, which our pilot will be for next week. And that's it for Go Live. Go live.
go live. Bye. Thank
Nice
you,
one, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Good job, good job.
Go,
Ting, nakita ko rin yung
boys.
white smoke, pare.
Wow.
Did
Ganyan,
you see it
dumaan
also,
mismo yun.
Dennis?
Yeah, I
There was,
saw it.
diba?
Akala ko nga
Yeah.
nag-vape ka eh. Sabi ko to si Ting, nag-vape ata.
Yeah, right when
Galing.
you were talking about your mom still present with
Exactly.
you in spirit.
Yeah, tumataas pa
Wow.
yung ganyan.
Yeah.
White smoke, walang
Hi,
smoke.
Tita. Hello.
Yeah.
This is their condo.
Oh,
This is her condo. Okay. Nice to have you in the show, tita.
Hi, tita.
Hi. Grabe kakilabot.
Let's just say hi.
Yes. Hi, Mommy Joy.
Hi, Joy.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you, Mommy.
So, Dennis,
for
are
all
you
the
ready?
tips, ha? It's really helpful to hear also not just from you, a doctor, but the affirmation from all of the rest of the panel here tonight. All the message was clear. Eh? All take care of our health. Diba? Let's
Yeah.
continue to protect ourselves. Diba?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Of course, not discounting the fact to keep praying and,
Mm-mm.
surrendering to the Lord. Pero ang hirap nun, Reg. Paano niyo, at saka Maricar, ikaw, Mommy says, matagal ka
Yeah.
na kitang idol dyan eh. Pero grabe, parang, I can't imagine 2 weeks na mag-isa ka nakakulong sa kwarto, wala kang
Alam mo,
kasama. Diba?
you know what? What helped Maricar is an pocket Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Sa hospital siya for 2 weeks
Netflix.
and a laptop.
Technology talaga.
Wala kasing internet sa hospital. But because of the pocket Wi-Fi, so, ayan na, all my,
Yeah, Zoom and
Zoom.
everything.
oo. There's a rosary group in the morning, the DM at 3 o'clock.
Mm-mm.
Hindi siya nainip sa hospital.
Hindi, not at all.
Oh, buti na lang may technology to stay
Yeah.
connected talaga.
Yeah.
Galing.
And with all the activities of BCBP, grabe, puno ng schedule mo for the whole week.
Mm.
Panood lang.
Totoo. Last year,
Nakarelate ako dun sa dun sa parents.
Oh my!
Oo, mahirap
Oo.
talaga. Mahirap talaga.
Oo.
Sabi ko nga sa mom ko sabi niya, okay, para hindi mo makalimutan, lagi mo isabit sa tenga mo. Yun lang, para lang pag gumagalaw-galaw, alam mo dapat isasara mo siya.
Pati yung shield, nakataas lang ng shield na kagano'n.
Oo, di ba? Exactly.
Pero in the first place, huwag na sila lumabas, di ba?
Kaya hindi mo maalis din pag lalo na ngayon, di ba? Parang kilala ko nila yung sa palengke, kunyari, dating doon may gulay, dadating may isda. So parang, uy, ano yung meron? Tapos walang mask. Di ba? Mamaya bumibili na, ilang kilo to?
Ala, I saw it to Ting. Ang dami nakakita ng smoke, Ting.
This is so amazing. We have an angel for this episode. Bonus na bonus talaga. Grabe.
Galing.
Mommy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Thank you for hosting. You guys were great. Galing.
You're all great. Grabe.
Congratulations,
Thank you so much.
Casey.
Yes, and good luck to you, Dennis, next week.
Extended ka.
Congratulations.